Hey Craftiana, today I'll be showing you how to use heat transfer vinyl, also known as HTV. So I'll be using my Cricut and I'll be showing you how I made this little sweater. If I can get it unfolded. So it has these little butterflies up on the sleeves on both sides. And it has a little saying right here on the front pocket. It says Jehovah Jireh, Psalms 27, I believe. Or Psalms 27. So it's simple, dimple. So all we need is if I can find it. Oh, you're gonna need some heat transfer vinyl. I got this heat transfer vinyl from downtown LA. Actually, land. It's important to know the press times, the temperature times. It should say it's somewhere on your wrapping or your packaging. I love me a good heat pressing pillow. This really makes or break my press. My press not makes or break it, but it really makes for a better press. I got this one from, it's a Cricut brand, so yeah. What else I need? You need some type of heat press. So I have a handheld 5x7. It came from AST Anti off of Amazon, but they don't have it. It's always been saying sold out for a good while now, but they have other 5x7s on Amazon. So yeah, that's what we need. So let's get right into it. And I also will show you how I designed this in Cricut Design Space. Yeah, it's crafty and it'll work. So this is the heat transfer vinyl I'll be using. It's foil heat transfer vinyl, also known as HEV. I got this from Land in downtown LA. And let's pull this out the wrapper. So this is what it looks like out the wrapper. It's nice and pretty and shiny on this side, but also has this dual backing. So when we place this on our Cricut mat, always, well, 95% of the time of HEV that you're going to be using, you want to place that pretty side down, and you're going to mirror it in your Cricut Design Space. So it cuts backwards on this side, so when it's legible and you flip it over to put it on your shirt, you press it on this side and it's read right. So I'll show you that once we get to Cricut Design Space. And also HEV, known as heat transfer vinyl, is meaning that you're using heat, some type of heat source, to press that material onto whatever you're using, whether it's a t-shirt, sweater, canvas bag, anything. So you're using, it needs heat to adhere to your surface. So let's go to Cricut Design Space and design our image, and we'll get more into that quickly. So let's design our image. I got Cricut Design Space open. I'm going to click on this left text box and I'm going to type in whatever words I want. I'm typing in Jehovah Jireh. That's what my client wanted. So I'm typing that in, make sure you got the correct spelling, Craftiana, okay? Because sometimes I'd have messed up some spelling, cut it out and then pressed it up onto the shirt or whatever I was working on. And I'm like, oopsie daisy. So double check what you're working on. So I typed in Jehovah Jireh at the top, then I press the enter, and I'm typing Psalms 27 right up under that. If you press enter, it'll move your text box down to under that previous word. So now I'm going to go over here to the fonts, and I'm going to look for a font. So I just like to scroll through until I find one that I like, honestly. And it's usually always one that I originally clicked on in the beginning after I scrolled through 3,000 fonts, Craftiana. So you just play whatever fonts you like, and I think I ended up on a font called Catchland, but we gonna see in a second because I was scrolling and scrolling and scrolling for days. So we gonna see. That is really just a trial and error to see what you like. Sometimes you get it on the first try. Sometimes you spend 30 minutes looking to a font. So I clicked on backpack and I like backpack. Why I didn't go with backpack? Hmm. Things that make you go, why I didn't go with backpack? I liked how backpack look. So I think this is where I landed at. This is Catchland, yeah. So I ended up going on Catchland, and I'm gonna close that off. So I pre-measured my space that I wanted, where I wanted it on a sweater with my measuring tape. So it is important to measure out whatever space you're working on to know how big you need to make your decal. So I'm just adjusting the height and width. So I did do this. I measured it out, Crafty, and I measured it out. I can't tell you what specific size you need for your sweater or whatever. Now this part is going on the little pocket front on the sweater, so it isn't going to be super huge, but it's going to be slightly big enough so you can see it, okay? The pocket ain't that small. It's one of those hoodie sweater pockets. So I'm just playing around with that height and width because I want it to look a certain way, but I don't want it to look stretched out, if you know what I mean. So I'm undoing that if I didn't like it. And it's a lot of back and forth motion, for real, for real. I just go back,
Let me not sing that before they try to get me down to the YouTube, okay? So I got that to the size I wanted. Now I want some little butterflies on here. So I'm going to click on the left and I'm going to click on images. I'm just going to search butterfly and I'm going to scroll down and see which one I like. I'm looking for like a little cluster of butterflies, all of them together in a design. So that's what I'm looking for. So I've seen two options so far. So I found one I like and I just click it and I add it to my screen. Then I'm going to duplicate that because I want a set for each side of the sleeves. So I need two. So I click on duplicate and well, first I'm adjusting that height. Then I'm just going to click on that little plus sign and it makes two copies of the same exact image, Craftiana. So I already measure my space I want that on. So I know how big I want that on. So I'm going to highlight all these words together and I'm going to click on this little pin thing in the left corner and I'm going to unite those together. So that just makes sure it stays in place in all one image. It doesn't move when I go click to make. So after I got everything how I want it, I'm going to click on make. I'm not saving this project, so I don't think I'll need it again. So this is how it looks up. So now it is important. You see this little mirror button? You must mirror your images when working with HTV. It is so important to mirror it. Don't forget it. So now I'm going to click on continue. And now we're connecting to our machine. And we're going to cut this out like normal.
Okay, we got that all designed out. Now it's time to put this art HTV on the mat. And I'm just trying to pre-measure how much I need. I'm going to cut this about to good right here. I think that should be enough. As you can see, this is the pretty side that we want to be shown. So we need that pretty side facing down. Okay, Crafty, so I'm going to remove my little protective film off my mat. And I'm going to line my pretty side down, okay? And we mirrored our image in Cricut Design Space already. I'm going to braid this on here. Make sure it's nice and flat and adhered really well. Okay. Shiny side and pretty side down because we're cutting this basically backwards, okay? Now let's put it in our Cricut, okay? Miss Crickiana is blinking and waiting, so I'm going to press this little arrow button and she's feeding up in there. Then I'm going to wait for this little C to start flashing. Yours may look different, and I'm going to press that little C and it's going to start cutting, okay? I am working on the Cricut Explorer Air 2, so it might be a little play button right there for you, but mine is a little C, okay? Because I got an order model. Now she's just cutting this out. We're going to let that do what she do, and then we're going to lower her out and weed her. Be right back. So my Cricut cut out that first layer, that my first one out way too deep. So this is important to know your cut settings, because I just used the standard foil iron-on settings for that was built in Cricut, and let me tell you, it cut all those out away from the carrier sheet. So I'm about to retype out, well, not retype, but recut out the Jehovah Jireh part. So I'm just cleaning this up. Them butterflies I'm still gonna use because I could just place those individually. So hold on, let me recut that out. Sometimes players make mistakes too, but that's why it's important to do test cuts, Crafty, on the back. I'll be right back. Hold on. So I cut that I recut out that Jehovah Jireh part. And let's pull that up off that mat real quick. And let's weed this out, Craftiana, because I was tripping on that first part. I mean, on that first one. See, yeah, that's doing what I needed to do. It didn't cut through that carrier sheet. And when you cut on the right settings, your vinyl should weed pretty easily. Now, should I be more careful weeding this out? I should, so don't be like me. So we're just going to weed this out. And remember, this is the back side of it. So when I flip it around, it'll read correctly. But let me get this out real quick. And all of this is heat activated. So it's like it got a little stick to it, but it won't really stick to nothing unless you put some heat towards it. Okay. Some heat and some pressure, Crafty, and they gotta have some yanking. Make sure you get all the little insides of the E's and O's and A's or whatever. Because sometimes I do be forgetting those. Okay. And we be like oopsie daisy. So I flip it around. And can you see that it says Jehovah Jireh, Psalm 27? It's hard to see because of the color, but there it goes. And then I have my little butterflies that I have to individually cut out. It still got the carrier sheet up on here, but yeah. So let's get to pressing, okay?